Alright, my food's cooking and this just popped into my head. I forgot I was supposed to be doing this. This is a rant on the Overwatch story. And you know, in YouTuber fashion, we're just gonna get right into it. And the first issue is that many things happen off screen, or I think they assume that the time that passes for us, and this happens in a lot of stories, you know, especially like weekly TV shows, the time that passes for us also passes for the characters in universe. But I think too much time passes and too many things happen, and okay, let's say the whole reveal with that Mizuki knows Kiriko's dad. This happens off screen. Any initial argument that would be really interesting to see happened off screen. What else happened this year? Hold on. Gibraltar getting attacked did happen on page, not on screen, on both the webtoon and in Ayn Rand's comic. There. And we're going to circle back to Ayn Rand because she's part of the problem. But many things happen off screen, this character development, things like that, things you'd want to see just happen off screen, and it's really boring, and decisions don't feel like they're really fleshed out. Next issue I have are the crazy amount of different mediums you have to follow to keep track of the story. There is the webtoon, and the webtoon is not in the game, so you're going to be missing parts of the story just from that alone. Everything else, all the videos, the comics, they get like read. Most of the comics gets read, and the really short stories, they get read out by the voice actors. But the, I guess, longer short stories, that the kind that were in Heroes Ascendant, which is a book containing many short stories. I think you call that an anthropology, or no. Anthropology is the study of people. Oh my god. It's, what is it? It's not a melody, that's a music. Anthology. There it is. It's an anthology, I think. That's the right use of the word. Anyways, so there's that book. And they have made, I think, most of the stories in that book like available on the Overwatch website. You can go on overwatch.com, go to like the media tab, and you will find stories for a few characters. I think you've got Hanzo, you've got Wrecking Ball, you've got Light Weaver, or was that Symmetra? They're together in that. Not together, but they are in the same story. But yeah, and you know, there's also Sojourn, who has a novel. Apparently. Not that many people talk about it. I guess it doesn't matter that much. So yeah, there's a lot to keep track of, and the game does have like a sort of timeline feature on the story tab. But like when you're missing the short stories, it's kind of not good. And also the pacing at which it comes out, it's not like there's a new thing every week. It happens when it happens. We don't know. When there's time for a new hero to come out, we'll get something, and like the next two things this season will be for the new hero, and it's really bad. I already did the big rant on how what's her face, the Vendetta character, just kind of shows up and then wins against the guy who got like nerfed, presumably. It's not good, but it would help the characters feel real, like they exist. If okay, the off-screen thing, Vendetta shows up and you don't see her. She mentions in an interaction with the cat, she's like, I plot for years, I do all this bullshit, and Overwatch sends a house cat at me. And no, you did not plot for years. You showed up like 6 months ago. You're new to this. We don't know you. You have no feats. And something I will compliment, this is the stuff of Grand Mesa, I think that was really good. We got to see how strong Sierra was in relation to, you know, other characters. You know, she can't handle, you know, Omri in his fucking cheater mode. And she doesn't have fucking 360 vision. She can't, you know, see Freya shooting a bow. All right, she's not broken. She's a super soldier. And whether or not you think there needs to be another super soldier, one thing I will say is that Sierra is a character with a goal. She wants to find her mother. Now, what can you tell me is the goal of Hazard? Nothing, because Hazard has one comic that tells you his backstory that most people have not read because it's not on his hero. If you select him on the hero gallery, some characters have cinematics there, but the comics, that more often than not, the comics do go over their origin story in more detail, are not there. I'd have to turn the game back on, but I don't think Hazard is there. I don't remember it being there, and I've checked his gallery many times to, you know, change my shit because I do play Hazard a lot, and it's not there. So yeah. But anyways, goals. What is the goal of Ayn Rand? What does she want to do? I don't know. And while I'm talking about Ayn Rand and Wu Yang and, you know, these, and Juno and these characters like that, there is a charm, and I hope I don't sound like psychotic, but there's a charm in seeing children fight. All right, when 16-year-old Ben 10 gets punched in the face by a grown-ass man, it's a little funny. And that's like Naruto, when those kids are fighting each other, first of all, they do objectively look cooler. Naruto had just looks worse by Shippuden. I don't know how to describe it. His proportions just look so boring. The orange and black looks so boring. It's soul draining to look at Naruto Shippuden. But this isn't about Naruto. This is about what the fuck am I talking about? Characters with goals. Oh yeah, his goal is to be the Hokage, and you know, Vendetta wants to be the Hokage, and Domina, I guess, also wants to do that. You know, they're evil and in love, and you got to deal with them, man, and it's beautiful. But I also wish they would confirm that, but no, they don't confirm that because, you know, this game is owned by Activision and being pushed in, you know, many Asian countries, so you can't have homos be prominent. Sorry, not important. No. And you know, people were wondering why everyone was complaining about why we were having an NPC, you know, lover, and the reason people are complaining is because, well, that character's not in the game. That character's never going to be in the game. Does Venture have a lover? No. Does Moira have one? Do we even know which way Moira swings canonically? No. And they'll never say. Well, I'm sure they'd love to, but they can't. Because again, this game's owned by Activision, and they're pushing it in, you know, every way they can get their fucking foot in the door. No goals, no characters without goals. Let me think of a character that came out with no goals. Xion. Xion was handled terribly from the mismanagement of how expressive she's supposed to be. She has like just a smaller, cuter face, and the 2D animation where this is your first look at the character, and she looks wrong. The comic came out where and I admittedly we already knew that Mizuki was a good guy because I thought this was AI generated, but on the Overwatch versus Talon thing from the beginning of the year with like Vendetta, Domina, Amri on one side, and you had the Cat, Ayn Rand, and Mizuki on the other side. I think Winston was there too, and there was some other Talon character. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, you knew Mizuki was going to join Overwatch, and he does join Overwatch instead of going to Zenyatta because there are no Ana characters allowed. Sorry, I'm kidding. We only just cut Ramacha's story and then just yeah, whatever. We'll get to that. But Shion's goal is to find Mizuki, but he left for Overwatch. Does this mean that Shion is going to like? Well, no, she's not that broken up about it because in the newer story that isn't filler, technically, it's not filler. It is not filler. She said she's staying in Japan, so the Japan story is over. It lasted for like a month, and there are maybe like 4 things about it that'll take you like maybe 3 hours to go through if you're like on your phone the whole time. But yeah, it's over. It's over. Good lord. What am I saying? No goals. Yeah, the whole thing with like Mizuki, whatever. What is Mizuki's goal now, huh? The most interesting part of this character was that he was untrustworthy. He's living a double life, and you immediately pluck him out of that cool setting. Why is he in Overwatch? Who asked for this? No one. Do we get time with Mizuki and Shion? No, we don't. It off screen. Everything's off screen. Everything's off screen. No character has a goal they're working towards. They just exist. They just plop them out. I mean, most characters, I guess, have a general goal. The Overwatch characters are, of course, reactive. They're there to stop talent, with whatever they're up to. And there's that conspiracy plot with the Eye, and that's supposed to be related to Omri and Sombra. But I'm gonna quickly go over this one because it doesn't matter. This is filler. There are a few stories where like they'll even get the voice actors on it, and they'll tell you shit you already know. Like there's like we had a whole story dedicated to Winston being like, wow, Overwatch is back, and we even I sent out some coins to Wu-Gang and Ayn from Overwatch, but they're not in Overwatch yet, but that's what I did. And then Sierra and Sojourn had one where like, yeah, I'm in Overwatch. Okay, you're in Overwatch? You sure you want to be in Overwatch? Because like we're kind of illegal a little bit. She's like, yeah, sure, why not? I want to find my mom. And then but that lasts like 5 fucking minutes. And what's another like filler story that just doesn't need to exist? There's like a few of them. Whenever you like the drops in lore, because they are just dropped, they just come out of fucking nowhere. Whenever it happens, it's really exciting, but to find out that like it's ground being recovered, like Shion's, technically there is new information gained. You see what she used to look like, and you also learn that she's not going to be like leaving, or she's going to stay and like defend her new territory. But like, so you telling us that she's not going to do anything? That's the new hot drop, is that nothing's happening. Nothing ever happens, but does nothing. Anyways, last one is, and this I guess is related to filler, is that the characters are inconsistent. Whenever there are, understandably many Overwatch characters, but you think that there would be like side guys so that everyone gets like a bit of content or whatever, to get something going, but no. Hazard has existed for I think 2 years or almost 2 years. He hasn't done anything. Hazard has done nothing. What has Reaper done? Nothing. I was on the train talking to my friend. He was asking, he's a Reaper fan, and my whole friend group, we like Reaper. We like Reaper. And he was asking me, what does Reaper do? Does Reaper have anything to like I can like read or anything? I told him, Code of Violence. That's it. That's all you got. There's nothing. There's nothing. Reaper has done nothing. Many of these characters have done nothing, and I don't know if they're dragging their feet, trying not to do too much because they're supposed to be a TV show. But I mean, like, I don't. It gets to a point where like you're just keeping us all kind of interested in the hopes of a TV show that might not even be good, because like it's going to drop on Netflix. And has Netflix ever made anything of value? I don't know. Inconsistent characters. Oh, like if you're a Sigma fan, I don't know why you're a Sigma fan. He hasn't done anything. Sombra and Reaper go back to Doomfist for some reason. I don't know why. Because the inconsistent writing. I don't know. But point is, nothing happens. That's the issue. Nothing ever happens. Okay, I'm recording this last part in the bathroom, so I have to be very quiet. Now, I noticed I forgot to mention my beef with Wing and Anran, which is that despite being, sort of stand-ins for characters like, Spider-Man or the Ben 10, teenage superheroes, Blue Beetle. They don't go to school. They have permission to leave. They're not doing, some shit with Overwatch and then also some shit in school. It's kind of just, these are just soldiers, child soldiers who are just kind of okay with it, and they don't really have any, they don't feel any sort of way about any, conflicts, because Talon is just generically evil. So there's no interest to them at all. Yeah, that's kind of what I really wanted to say about them specifically. Oh, and today, this is, so I don't want to, I'll date it now. This is, I think August 2nd or 3rd. Anyways, it's the finals of like the current OWCS tournament. Twisted Minds and Zeta Division are playing right now. And, earlier on I saw them reveal the 3 new map reworks to Eichenwald, Paraiso, and Busan. Now, one of these is not like the others, but the Busan one is related to Malga. And, everyone was really excited to see Malga go over to Junkertown because, putting a big guy with the, big loud guy with a big loud lady, that's bound to be funny. And he also, if you pay attention to the interactions, he knows who Roadhog is. Roadhog fucking hates him. And this could have been really, really interesting, but we haven't seen anything of it yet. And, with how limited the lore releases are, we won't see anything. And limited lore, that brings me to the webtoon, because I forgot to shit on the webtoon, and it's specifically, it seems to be about Juno and Wu Yang right now, at least for the free chapters, because they're not paying for this shit, and they are possibly the least interesting characters to censor it on. Realistically, there should be like a few different comics running right now, so that every hero can have different plot lines, and maybe they can have different art styles, and we wouldn't have to rush and say, oh, this is all going to be in this one thing, all in this fucking webtoon that doesn't even look that good. But God, it's like, I don't know what the point of the webtoon is, because the action isn't very entertaining. They just kind of skip over it, and the character interactions are also really boring, because Overwatch has Overwatch, like the faction in game has like 20 people in it right now, and they don't have the time to really go, or they don't want to go into the minutiae of it all and whatever. So I don't know. I was really waiting for like sort of a little rivalry between like Brigitte and Sierra, or like have like Sierra and Ayn Rand fight over who gets to be Sojourn's daughter, because they got like, they kind of have mommy issues. I thought that would be really funny. None of it happened, of course, because I feel like the webtoon is just a fucking commercial, which obviously it's oh my god, I don't. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to chew on. So yeah, that is the end of the lore rant officially, because I'm gonna stream later today, probably.